Don't play Modern Warfare 3 before watching this video. I know it's an aggressive statement, but the reason why I say it is because there's a lot of things you are going to want to know before you actually play Modern Warfare 3. Whether that's when it actually goes live or what is the best way to start playing it in order to maximize your leveling, weapon progression, and everything else like that. And also, you probably also want to know what you are actually going to be playing once the game goes live. And essentially, in this video, I'm going to be going over all of those details. Whether you're into playing multiplayer or zombies, I have you covered. When the game actually goes live, I don't have enough notifications to show you everything that I want to on this channel. So you're going to want to make sure you're following my second channel, which is linked down in the description as well. We're going to have some Call of Duty content going up over there. I do Let's Plays normally over there, but Call of Duty content will be there for the next little while, so be sure to check out that channel as well. But I've done enough talking about things that you probably don't care about. Let me be quiet and actually start talking about the things you do want to hear about. So let's start out with when you can actually play the game and when you can download it early. So as far as preloading goes, don't worry about the campaign early access here. Worry about the multiplayer in zombies. So the preloading is going to start on November 8th, aka today at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can just convert that to your time zone, and that is when you can start downloading it. Essentially, it's about a day and a half before the game releases, but that's where things get a little bit confusing because the full game release is very, very odd. And we'll start out with the easy one because that's if you're playing on PC. PC, the game is going to launch the exact same time around the world, and you will be able to play campaign if you didn't pre-order the game, multiplayer, and zombies all at this time, which is midnight Eastern Standard Time on the 10th. So in other words, 12 a.m. on the 10th or 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 9th. Just convert that to your time zone, and that is when it is going to go live. They're also all on the map that you're looking at here. Now, console is where things are going to get interesting because on console, essentially the games launch at midnight on the 10th. So 12 a.m. in your time zone on the 10th. What this means is that New Zealand can play on console before anyone else in the world because it's midnight there on the 10th, earliest in the entire world, so they can play before everyone else. So if you're like me and taking a quick trip to New Zealand on the 9th, you are actually able to play at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 9th. So yeah, I will have some videos up on the 9th and I will be streaming that day as well. So make sure you check out all the links down below. Now, the one other thing that you should know about playing on the first day is that pretty much every Call of Duty game that I can remember has a day one patch. This day one patch is very big and is going to change a lot of the things in game or allow you to access a lot of the things in game. From everything that we know as of right now, that is going to go live on the 10th. Now, we don't know at what time. I would assume it's when the servers go live in New Zealand, and we don't know when they are putting out patch notes for that update. So whenever that happens, I will have a video going up explaining everything that is in that patch. But until then, just know that that's one that drastically changes the game and should go live when the servers start to go live. So now you've downloaded the game and you're about to play it. One thing that you should know is that double XP tokens are carrying over from Modern Warfare 2. So everything that you've banked up until now carries over, and you can use double XP tokens and double weapon XP tokens. This is going to allow you to level up your character faster and level up weapon faster, therefore get to that camo grind and get to the late game even faster than anyone else. So hopefully you did bank up those tokens. But if you didn't, there is another way to get some more XP tokens, and that would be through Monster Energy drinks. Basically, when you buy one of the drinks that shows the promotion on it, you can put in a code, and that code is going to give you some double XP. Other than that, there's not any other really crazy promotions going on like this. Now, there is also a Little Caesars one going on, but it doesn't seem to be as abundant as the Monster one. And on top of that, there should be Twitch drops going on during the first week-ish of the game. They haven't announced what those are yet, but they do it every single year. I will be streaming pretty much the whole launch week over on Twitch. You can check that out, link down below. So you're ready to play at this point. First things first, we have multiplayer. Let's start by looking at the modes that you can play in multiplayer. There's a new 3v3v3 mode called Cutthroat. The 6v6 modes include Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirmed, Free-for-all, Hardpoint, Control, War, and Gun Game. By the way, War is that same mode that we saw within, I believe it was Call of Duty World War II, where you kind of have to push an objective forward, and then the other team is defending that objective. Then we have our 32v32 modes. This includes Ground War and Invasion, just like we saw within Modern Warfare 2. So you have your modes. Now let's look at our maps. As far as the maps go, we have all of the Modern Warfare 2 original maps for 6v6, which are Afghan, Derail, Estate, Favela, High Rise, Invasion, Karachi, Quarry, Rundown, Rust, Scrapyard, Skid Row, Subbase, Terminal, Underpass, and finally Wasteland. Then we have our ground war maps, or our 32v32 maps, which include Levin Resort, Orlov Military Base, and Popov Power. Then finally, for your war mode, you have one map for this one. It's called Operation Spearhead. We haven't seen this one yet, so we'll have to wait to see how this one works. Also at launch, there's going to be 25 new operators coming to Modern Warfare 3, all of which will be unlockable via challenges, some multiplayer, some zombies, and some campaign. Now, there's also a ton of information out about how the Create class and loadouts are going to work within the game. I'm not going to go into too much depth because it would make this video 30 minutes long, but I have a full video breaking down how all of that works, what is inside it, and if you want to check that out, it'll be linked down in the description. But what you should know is that essentially you have your vests. These are going to control what type of gear that you're allowed to use, how many tacticals, how many lethals, whether you can use 2 primaries or not. That's based off of your vests. Then you have your primary and secondary weapons, tacticals, lethals, and then field upgrades. And then finally you have gloves, boots, and gear. Gear tend to be the strongest pieces of equipment, and certain vests are going to allow you to use less or more of those individual items. Then we have all of the new weapons that are coming with Modern Warfare 3. Keep in mind, every single weapon, the 77 weapons that are currently in Modern Warfare 2 are getting carried over, but the new ones that we have in Modern Warfare 3 include the assault rifles of the SVA 545, the MTZ 556, the Holger 556, the MCW, and the DG58, and finally we have the FR556. Moving into the battle rifles, we have the Bass B, we have the Sidewinder, and the MTZ762. The submachine guns, we have the Striker, WSP Swarm, Arm 9, WSP 9, the Rival 9, and finally the Striker 9. For shotguns, you have the Lockwood 680, you have the Haymaker, you have the Riveter, and that's all for the shotguns. For the LMGs, there's 5 of them. You have the Palumont 762, you have the DG58 LSW, you have the Holger 26, you have the Bruin MK9, and you have the TAC Eradicator. Moving into the marksman rifles, we have the KVD Enforcer, the MCW 6.8, and the DM56, followed up by the MTZ Interceptor. There's 3 sniper rifles with the CAT AMR, you have the longbow, and the KV inhibitor. The last 2 were both in the beta. For pistols, there's only 4 of them. We have the Core 45, the Renetti, my personal favorite, the TYR. This one looks amazing. And then finally, the WSP Stinger. As far as launchers, there is only one. Of course, the Modern Warfare 2 ones are carrying over, but it's the RGL-80. And then finally, we have the 2 melee weapons, which is the Gutter Knife and the Karambit. And the other thing that they have is aftermarket parts. These are things that you get when you fully level up a weapon, and sometimes they're unlockable through weekly challenges. But these completely change weapons altogether. But speaking of which, let's dive into the challenges in game. So there's going to be essentially 2 types of challenges that you want to pay attention to when you start playing. The first one is daily challenges, and after completing a certain amount of these, we don't know how many as of yet, there's going to be something called armory unlocks that you can get. Now with these, you can unlock any piece of equipment, any sort of attachment, or anything like we just talked about, like aftermarket parts or camo that you may have missed previously. Now, why may you have missed them, you asked? Well, every single week they are adding in challenges, and when you complete a set number of them, you can unlock things like aftermarket parts, like the one we're seeing here called the Jack Raven kit, or camos like the one you're seeing here like Golden River. If you miss these, that is where you use your daily challenge rewards to then unlock them further, but otherwise you can unlock them like you're seeing here through weekly challenge. And while we're talking about challenges, we can't avoid one of the coolest things coming to Modern Warfare 3, and that is the Mastery camos. Now there are over 900 camos that are going to be in the game because you can unlock camos on every weapon, but the Mastery ones are the ones I'm going to tell you about. So first of all, the Mastery camos for all of the Modern Warfare 2 weapons carry over. So these are the Gold, Platinum, Polyatomic, and Orion. Now those are for the Modern Warfare 2 weapons for multiplayer. However, in zombies, they're adding in Mastery camos for the Modern Warfare 2 weapons specifically as well. They include the Golden Ivory, Spinal Husk, Arachnidia, and finally Bioluminescent. Now for the Modern Warfare 3 weapons in multiplayer, the Mastery camos we have are the ones you're seeing here that are Gilded, Forged, Priceless, and Interstellar. And then the Zombies camo for Modern Warfare 3 weapons, we have the Golden Enigma, the Zychron Scale, the Serpentine, and my personal favorite out of all of them, Borealis. Now, if you want to know more about camos and a more in-depth look about how you can earn them, I have the camos video linked down in the description as well. So now we've gone over multiplayer, we've gone over the camos and how that works. The last thing that we have to look at, and the last thing available at launch aside from campaign, is zombies. So the way that zombies works is essentially a mix of zombies, or specifically Outbreak from Black Ops Cold War, and DMZ. So first off, when you boot in, you're going to be able to choose a strike team operator. Now, if you've played before, you're going to be able to load in with various different things, whether that be a certain type of vest, type of backpack, self-revive kits, perks, things along those lines. And these will all be loaded into your rucksack. If this seems familiar, it's probably because you played DMZ. And if you played DMZ, you've seen this screen before. You have your insured weapons. If you die without extracting, these go on a cooldown timer, where you also have your contraband stash, which is weapons that you've picked up in game. Now, there's various different field upgrades, perks, things along those lines, and ways to pack a punch weapons that, again, if I went over this, it'd be a 30-minute long video. So I have my full video of how zombies is going to work linked down in the description as well. If you want to check any of those out, they're much more in depth than this one is. I'm just giving you the broad overview here. Now, a brief description of how zombies actually work. So you go in on the map El Mazrah, and essentially there is going to be 3 different zones or difficulties throughout this map, the middle of it being the most difficult. Now, when you start out, you go in, you loot up, and you get essence, which is going to allow you to buy items in game. Essentially, your job is to level up your character, get better items, upgrade your weapons, and go through and eventually extract at the end of the game when you feel comfortable. Now, in this, there is also different things called missions, tiers, and acts. Acts contain various different tiers, which contains various different missions. When you complete missions, you unlock rewards, and then as you go through the tiers, the different acts allow you to access the different story for zombies as well. There are cutscenes and everything like that, but that's your basic breakdown of how zombies is going to work. To be clear, there is no rounds. It works like the Storm does in a battle royale game. It moves towards the middle, and each game is going to be around an hour of your time if you play it all the way to the end. So campaign, multiplayer, zombies, challenges, now you know everything that you're getting with the game at launch, but the question is, what happens after? Well, we don't actually know yet. With Season 1, that is when they are adding the prestige system into multiplayer and zombies, and we don't know how that will work yet, but I'm willing to bet it is very similar to what we have in Modern Warfare 2. And I'm guessing the rest of Season 1 is going to be familiar as well, but we also know that the zombies story is going to continue every single season, which probably means that they're going to be adding a new act with every single season. So right now at launch, there are 3 acts. Will they add another one? And if you remember, acts have tiers, tiers have missions, missions you can complete, and therefore you move forward in the story. So there you go. That's a summary of everything that is coming at launch, everything that you need to know so you can hop in and enjoy yourself in what you want to play right away. Hopefully this was able to help you out. If it did, as always, it's appreciated if you hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date, subscribe, notifications, all of that jazz. Now, I've done enough talking. Go enjoy the game, have fun, and peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.